It's so hard to believe that there is any geographical importance of locations when everyone is the same race. Like being a Aedyr and being whatever the frick else everything is, to me, is the exact same thing. Unless I'm just misunderstanding. Maybe Aedyrs are only white? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't tell.
Hard presence around here. My ways.
Yo, that is a weird mustache for this dude.
You're not me.
Oh man, bro. I'm getting to the point where I really don't care about the dialogue. Oh man. Yeah, dude, just get through it.
People like you. Now wait.
Watch your nose all.
Of course, it's a woman. It's always a woman. Oh my gosh, this was totally made by a freaking feminist. I mean, yes, like that's just blatant truth, but you know what I mean. Like, of course, we get this out of a feminist. Of course, it's expected.
How curious.
That's not how you write that line. No, that's not how you do it. That's not how you communicate it. No, that's not it. That's not it. Bro, like, it's like these people are just playing. It's like a bunch of theater kids. This is literally the characters in this game. The characters in this game are soulless, uncharismatic theater kids. That's literally what this is. Why am I saying slop? That is not what someone of stature would say. Someone of stature does not say, it as a counter to the argument, no one falls for this slop. I mean, I would sooner believe horse water or this dung. Not even dung. I mean, in some scenarios, yeah, dung. But, yeah, I mean, horse wash. I could see someone of higher status saying that. I mean, I would see her being called a charlatan. I could see that. Calling her a con woman, maybe. I mean, but that's already stupid. Con women don't really exist outside of a couple of things. But, I mean, we have other words for those. What's another word for slop? I mean, people used all kinds of other words. And now we want to make that the common tongue. I mean, that is honestly such a low IQ term. What's a word that people used to use a lot? You know, before low IQ and Ebonics took over American culture. I mean, yeah, like, it's a wonder anyone falls for this charade. That would be a proper word for this scenario right here. Charade. Instead of slop, you say charade. That has way more meaning. Slop is typically used with food. And this is not in like food that is like sludge, absolute trash. That's not the word that you would use for this scene here. Why are we using that word? And this is an intellect prompt? Someone with intellect says slop? In this scenario?
The Watcher provides deliverance.
This is a joke. This is a joke.
The Watcher must eat to help godlike. The Watcher asks for
oh my, dude, this author, bro. The writer who happens to be an author. I don't know what. I have no idea, but geez Louise, this is terrible. Golly. What's a skeet? I think we see slop used again right there in that journal. I think I read it. I guess the only thing impressive about this game, because everything else is really not impressing me, and I'm really starting to get a lot of fatigue with this game. The only thing impressing me, or what? Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
We aren't animans.
Wow, she has the smirk and the smile of a retard feminist who thinks that she's smarter than she actually is. Dime a dozen here. Dime a dozen. Man jaw. A man jaw, by the way. Man jaw. Just gotta remind you, man jaw over here.
Magical, all-knowing windows into the afterlife.
I hate these people. I hate
tell you,
this.
it's all smoke and mirrors.
Oh man, this writing is so bad.
Disappointing, but perhaps not surprising.
Oh, another woman. Another woman who's a captain. Oh, and she wields a great axe. And she's taller than the man.
A captain in the steel garrote under Inquisitor Ludwig.
Oh yeah. God, this game is every freaking cock. Freaking soy boy and feminist freaking wet dream over here.
How else should
It's not work. It's not work.
This sergeant of the Paradise Militia, a less charitable.
Frickin' retards. Frickin' retards.
Intended to
I don't know, cock. Ask a woman to make the frickin' plan for you.
Look,
I'm so checked out at this point. I tried. You know, I went quite a while with this one. Most games I pick up, I literally just give up very quickly. And with this one, you know, like Gotham Knights, I only played it for like an hour. It was really difficult to go an hour with that one. And then Immortals of Avium, I could only tolerate like 2 hours, I think. I don't know. I just don't care. I don't care. I want to see you burn in hell. I literally, wherever I can find a way to send you straight to hell right now, I would do it. Oh, wow. Look at her walk like a dude. Look at that wide step she's got. Jeez, what's in there? Lift up the mother effing skirt of armor, biatch. Lift it up. I want to see what's sitting right here. Show me what's sitting there. I know you don't have a freaking vagina. What's with the blockade? What is that gonna do? Absolutely nothing. Okay. 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 Listen. 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 Let's do something here. We're gonna do something right now. Alright, let's talk about it. When someone spends money to play your game, when someone spends money to experience a product, you make it worth their time. When you write dialogue lines for characters, you make what's spoken worth being said. When you make a story, when you make a narrative, for whatever media product that it is that you happen to be working on, gracing your fingers upon the work, whatever the F you are, whatever the F it is you're doing, you make it worth the time taken to create. You're not just sitting down, flurrying crap out of your freaking butthole into the product that people are purchasing with their money. $70 this game. $70. What the frick were you thinking? Man, you want to talk about slop. You want to talk about something that this is pig trough freaking fantasy, freaking writing, storytelling right here. You want to talk about something that is just a complete waste of your own existence and time? This right here. I don't even know what I'm looking at on screen right here, to be honest. And I was waiting for this game to really give me an idea of what the frick this is good for. and I could come up with an idea, but I just don't care. I'm not going to make sense of it for the developers, so I just don't care. Not interested. This game and its story has no interesting characters. Has no interesting characters. The people become increasingly unbearable to listen to. They're soulless husks. They're not interesting. They're not enlightening. They're not intelligent. There is no wisdom to be gained. There is nothing interesting that they speculate. There's a reason why very specific men throughout history are the philosophers. There's a reason why men are philosophers. Takes a very specific concoction of individual to have interesting thoughts and endeavors of the minds, speculations, and that you can join them on those speculations. This is not an expression of proper speculation from a mind that is worthy of joining a string of thought with. This is not worthy of anyone's time. And I am amazed that they even hired anyone for the writing team if this is what you're going to be getting. This is what you did? The writer/director is Carrie Patel. What the frick were you thinking? What the frick were you thinking? This is absolutely horrendous. I want to end myself going through this story. It's going nowhere. Nothing of value is being spoken and has been said throughout, at this point, almost 8 hours of me playing the game. What was the point? What was the point? What story? I have so many things to say about this. Oh man. Oh man. What is the point of making video games? Writing for video games? There are greater stories told within 2 to 3 hours in a movie. And you have how many hours in a video game to deliver a proper story? You have... We are nearing up on 10 hours. I have no idea where this is going. I finished within 11 hours, and many times I stopped to chit-chat like a chatty Cathy playing Arkham City. And that tells a complete story that you can play within, I forget how much time it actually is. I'm trying to remember right now. Because that was back when I was doing 1 hour playthroughs. Videos for the playthrough. I think it was like 13 hours or something, slightly longer as I remember, or 15 hours. It was slightly longer than Arkham Asylum, and Arkham Asylum was 11 hours, and I stopped the chit chat a little bit on that one too because I'm a chatty Cathy. A full and complete story with proper dialogue by Paul Dini was being written within a span of, let's just face it, like 9 hours if you're not a chatty Cathy. Okay? How do we spend so much time within a story? We don't have an idea of the characters, where the story's going, things are just randomly happening. Oh, I got assassinated. Big deal. Revive. Still don't know why. I don't understand anything. You are taking your time with the story and you're wasting it. Nothing of substance is happening. It feels like a slog. It does. It does. When you make a product, you make it worth people's time. You don't waste your own time. And you make sure that when you're telling a story, it's only substance that's being told. I don't understand this idea where you make a story and you literally flabber and you flibber and you flabber and you flibber and you ramble for the entirety of your story. Characters are just talking. They're just saying things. Oh, I am a metaphysical philosopher. What does it mean? Are you touching the pee-pee hole of a freaking dead dude? I don't know what you're doing. What does it mean? It means nothing. And that's the problem. It means absolutely nothing. I mean, like, there's no ideas here. How do you spend about what? I mean, now we're about 6 hours within this 8 hours. We're about 6 hours of game time into this game. Okay? How do you not effectively tell any proper story within that time? How do you fail to manage that? How? There's no effective ideas? I cannot think of anything that is genuinely of interest to me going through this. It sucks. There's nothing enlightening. There's nothing. And this is the thing. This is what I'm getting to here. This is what I'm getting at. When you make a product, you are expecting people to purchase it with money. Okay. Ask yourself, why should anyone buy a video game? Now, when you sit down and you make something as unbearable and soulless as this, ask yourself, behave like this is the first video game that anyone's ever purchased. You are completely restarting the gaming industry. Is there an industry after this game? Is anyone going to remember this? Or are people going to make fun of the entire industry, asking who the frick in their right mind would purchase a product from these people for this purpose? This is a type of game that would make someone make fun of gamers. This is a type of game that makes people sit there, if they know any better and they know anything about this game, they'll sit there and be like, oh, you're one of those losers. You're one of those people. You sit around and you waste your time with nothing burger stories. You're such a loser. Haha. What is wrong with you? You get made fun of and you get freaking wedgies. And like the weirdo feminist that you are, you don't need anal. No one needs to do anal on you. You got enough wedgies coming for you. Same thing for your freaking vajayjay. You don't need anything. You don't need to be serviced in any way. The wedgies are just going, it'll take complete care of you. This is the kind of thing that gets you made fun of. This is the kind of thing that gets you made fun of. I don't know why anyone purchased anything like this, and you believe to yourself that you spent good money. You believe to yourself that you spent good time into this. You believe to yourself that no one's going to make fun of you. There was a time where people thought that people who were into Marvel were weirdos. Now we're at the point where actual clown show, freaking products like this keep on coming out, and nobody thinks to just make fun of these people and literally cast these people out of society. You are a freaking freak weirdo that you find this a good worth of your time. We need to bring back bullying. Bring back bullying. This is nonsense. Anyone that purchases this nonsense, you put your time into this. You think that your time's being well spent. You need to be made fun of. You deserve it. I don't know how raging losers think that they put their time into something that is a complete disrespect to their own existence. And then you still sit there and you convince yourself that not only is your time being well spent, but somehow it's completely illogical for people to make fun of you. Bring back bullying. People need to be brought back to reality. They need it so bad now. Without bullying, you get crap like this. You get bad movies and bad television and bad games where no one's making fun of you because you're wasting your time with absolute filth nonsense. And then you sit there and you think you're a winner and you think you're smart and you think you're correct and you're a freaking loser. You're a freaking idiot. No one cares about you. No one likes you. No one looks up to you because you spend your time with absolute nonsense. And then you sit there and you tell other people, buy this horse crap because it's somehow valuable. It'll make you better. And I don't know for what. It'll make you better. Waste of time. It's a waste of time. This is a complete joke. I don't know how people are not ashamed of themselves. Have we lost all of our sense of shame to the point that you play a game like this and you have no shame over yourself? You not speak to other people and just feel immense shame fall over, drip over your freaking entire existence, your face. You feel it flood over you like a freaking waterfall. It's water just combing through your entire being, and you're like, it's shame. I'm drenched in shame. How do you not have absolute shame for your own existence playing something like this? This is so pitiful. Pitiful. How anyone tolerates this nonsense, sits down, wastes their time. I mean, are losers just dime a dozen now? Is that what we're doing here? Is that what this is? People with nothing better going on? Everyone's a loser, so no one's getting wedgies? Is that what it is? Jeez Louise, man. The gaming industry is a freaking joke. It's a freaking joke. This is not gaming. Who the frick is going to look at these products and say, I'm gonna purchase a console. I'm gonna purchase a video game. I'm going to give a crap about this. What the frick? These are the games that destroys an industry, that kills an industry. It takes work to legitimize a product, to legitimize an industry. You make good cars, people buy cars. When the cars are falling apart and they're breathing fumes, not out of the exhaust, but through the freaking air conditioning, fumes from your gasoline coming right into your freaking face as you're driving your car, and you just die. Well, then people stop buying cars. And that's what this is right here. You are making a faulty product. This is not a proper video game. It's just that simple. This is painfully soulless, generic. I mean, what are we doing? What do we do? Oh, okay, I'm platforming as usual. I'm opening chests, and all that's inside the chest, let's just face it, just a bunch of the same crafting materials. It might as well, like, this is game design. This is your chosen philosophy. They could have chosen this. you open you open a chest and you get a random token that says you can upgrade a piece of gear for 1 level. But no, instead I have to find all these a random branch in a chest. Who's putting the random branches inside a chest? I don't know. And then I find a random Aedyr or something else. I don't know. Iron chunks in a chest. And then I have to assort all these random pieces of crafting materials so then I can level up. I mean, there's 5 different tiers and there's 3 tiers within each tier. So I have to keep on finding the same multiple crafting materials and I have to get enough of each material, which means I just have to open up a bunch of chests over and over again. Listen. Platforming around and finding secrets and looting things, it loses its luster once you realize that you're not getting anything truly of any worth or value. You're getting the same crap over and over. You're getting random gold or silver or whatever. You're just getting little pittance to get little breaches of progression as you go through the game. Oh my gosh, I got 6 more points of damage because I spent 3 hours opening chests and getting enough softwood branches or whatever. So now I can get 6 more damage points. Oh my, I'm jerking off. It's so good. What are we doing? What are we doing here? It's a waste of time. Is this really the best idea that we have for how a player should be spending their time with a game? Is this the best idea we've got? It's after games like these, I literally sit down and I question myself, why are gamers not selling their consoles? Selling their PCs? Genuine, legitimate question. This is the kind of thing that if you're coming out with movies of this quality, because it just means that you're coming out with trash movies, why are we not shutting down the theaters? Why are we not shutting down the studios? Just pack it up, go home, it's over. It's done. That's what this is right here. I don't know, man. I mean, was Skyrim really that impressive of a game? Let's just face it, not really. There were things going for Skyrim that made it easy for a lot of people to just keep on playing. The combat was a little bit more rewarding than this game because it's just constant block, attack, block, attack. The enemy just keeps on attack, 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 and then eventually you have to keep on, you know, the stamina management. Honestly, it's annoying. It's annoying. I don't know, man. I mean, like, it doesn't feel satisfying to play the gameplay. You know, at first it's like, it's kind of interesting, but then you just keep on going and you keep on going. And then you're like, okay, these enemies are just bullet sponges. The stamina bar is a boss bullet sponge of its own, and I have to wait for my own boss stamina bar to recharge every couple of seconds, and then I have to wait for the enemy boss stamina bar to, I guess, wear out, if there even is such a thing, which there isn't. They just eventually they stop attacking you. Then that's it. I've gotten to the point, and I've heard someone said this before, and now I'm just remembering that. I am at the point where I want enemies to have a stamina bar in games. Enemies need to have stamina bars. This is freaking ridiculous. It's I attack, attack, attack. Oh, here's your turn. You get to finally attack. No, there needs to be something. The enemy needs, when they dodge, or if they dodge or anything, they have a stamina bar. I've gotten so sick and tired of this. There's so many other games that have done this, where it's like the enemy's just attacking over and over and over again, and it's just annoying. It's just annoying. I need a mechanic so that there's just something else going on outside of waiting for my turn to attack. And that's the problem. You're just waiting for your turn to attack. There's really nothing that you're actually engaging with here. So you're waiting for your turn to attack. You don't know when it is. So So when you try to go in for a swing, you might just get attacked again. So then you get damaged and you're like, okay. Then you heal yourself and you just keep on waiting. It's not that interesting. It's not that fun. Okay. Honestly, I'm not that thrilled about it. Simply speaking. Anyway, man. This is a sort of game that you play and you ask yourself, why are people not selling their consoles? Genuine question. Why does anyone sit around and have any faith in the gaming industry when you keep on getting products like these? If you keep on showing up to a movie theater and you're just watching terrible movies with terrible plots and terrible writing, and honestly, it's all over the place and it's incomprehensive, and you're just like, what the frick am I here for? And it's just 1 second, it's this kind of film, and the next second, it's like, it's not even a film anymore, and it's a weird like commercial, and you're just like, what the frick am I doing here? Why am I tolerating this? Eventually, you just sit there and you're like, this is dumb. This is dumb. I'm listening in this game to the dialogue, and I'm listening to characters just ramble on, and I'm like, what are you saying? Why do I care? Nothing that the characters say in this game matters. You know exactly what this is. This is categorical writing. And that's the thing I realize with these woke writers. It is categorical writing rather than substantive, ideological, conceptual, actual, philosophical writing. Instead of having an idea in your mind and saying, I'm going to write out that idea with characters that surround the idea. Like, let's say, Metal Gear, for instance, Solid. Those games had an idea that they were pursuing in the narrative. Nier Automata and the Nier games in general, they have an idea to the story. That's what you're following the narrative for. Idea of story, you sculpt the characters around the idea. What do we have here? This is categorical writing. It's fantasy. Okay, so clearly we need gods. All right, so just make up a couple of names. God this, God that, God, God, God. Okay, so this is a polytheistic bunch of gods. End of story. Nice. And that's it. Then it's, well, okay, we need a race of people. Okay, what are we going to call them? Aiden or something. Okay, so Aiden or whatever. Then we gotta have another group of people. Okay, so call it something else. Okay, well, okay, we need to have a city in a town. Okay, call it something. Just call it a name. And that's what we did. We call it all a name, and that's it. This is categorical writing. That is literally what this is. And I think I finally came down to it. It took me this long to realize these are categorical writers. This is why it feels the same every time you pick up a game. Every time. Immortals of Avium. Eternal Strands. What are the other ones? Flintlock. Siege of Dawn. That game. Forspoken. It's all categorical writing. Oh, there's a dragon. Why? It's fantasy. There's gotta be a dragon somewhere. Okay. Zombie. Why? Fantasy. We gotta have a zombie. You're just trying to fulfill the category in whatever the expectations of the category seems to be. You're fulfilling a bunch of tropes, and again, this is just categorical writing. This is lazy. This is lame. This sucks. There is no creativity or imagination or substance or purpose or meaning behind this. There's no existential soul behind the product that you made. It's just things happening. Because why? Fantasy. It's just fantasy. Oh, look, a sword. Why? Why a sword? Fantasy. Sword and sorcery, don't you know? In your favorite books and novels, sword and sorcery. Fantasy. Oh, look, a wand. Oh, a spell. A fire, ice, and lightning. Why? Fantasy. Because fantasy. Categorical writing. I hate this freaking filth trash. Freaking at it, man. Freaking at it. It's unbearable. It's rehashed. It's reused. It's recycled. There's nothing interesting about it. I am going to be very clear when I say this. Great storytelling, there's a reason why it exists in the first place. If there was not an existential purpose and function behind storytelling, it would not exist. There's a reason why for generations, multiple civilizations have been telling stories, and that's because you are passing down generational value. You want to know what happens across generations? Men fight, women do not. When you put into your dog trash story that women are fighters and they're warriors too, where's the generational value in that? Why is someone purchasing that? A little boy picks up and they see a story with a woman as a captain, and then another woman as a captain, and then another woman in this role and that role. And then you look at the real world, no such thing. What is the existential latent purpose of picking up a story and you are getting an absolute farce, an absolute lie of the biological human condition through your storytelling? It is just propaganda, and that's all this is. Propagandistic social conditioning. For what? Any man that sits down and takes this seriously, you are emasculating yourself and you are becoming less of a man by valuing what this is. That's what's happening. You are pussifying yourself. You are cucking yourself. That is what's happening as you decide to say that this is important, this has value, and it matters. No, it doesn't matter. A great story bolsters your resolve. A great story gets you to sit back. Either you're drawn to tears because it's actually moving, like a war story of men who, unlike women, they sacrifice themselves for something of supreme value. They die for it. You fight and you work hard for it. You bleed, you sweat. And by the end of the story, you're crying because you see how much these men sacrifice to do what they do. And we don't get any of that from writers like these, from stories like this. There's no reason to purchase this product. There's no reason to show up to a movie when all it does is service absolute dog crap. Propaganda. There's no existential purpose. So why does it matter? And why do you fool yourself that it matters? Why? The only reason anyone sits down for generations to witness a story, to witness characters. The only reason that Luke Skywalker matters is because there's an existential idea that is latent within these characters. And it passes down value generationally. Star Wars, the originals and the prequels, are about family. It's about fatherhood. It's about men. It's about who are you and who do you become as you labor towards something. Anakin Skywalker, laboring to become a Jedi Master. He was prepared, he was ready, and he was frustrated that the Jedi Order were holding him back. So then a man steps in, Palpatine, and he takes advantage of this. Knowing the frustrations of Anakin and also his family trauma with his mother, Tusken Raiders, and what they did to his mother, and all his baggage with that, he takes advantage of Anakin and his frustrations with the world around him and his past and his family and the past with that. He takes advantage. He manipulates him to his own purposes and morphs him into a different man. What is that? Darth Vader. That is the idea behind the prequels, and that's why it has so much value. It means so many things to young men and so many men today. The prequels hold so much value because there are latent ideas of masculinity within that. You live your life and it's implicit. It is self-evident what it is that you're seeing here. It has value. You don't have to tell someone it has value. It has value. It's not propaganda. The story itself. Then we look at the originals. It's the idea of a man, a young man who is learning of his father's past, effectively speaking, to the extreme point, he doesn't even know who his father is. Because his father is a new man, for one, and all these other things. He has no idea who his father is. He's uncovering who his father is. And then, in the revelation of such things, meeting other men who knew his father before his father changed and was manipulated by this man that turned him into someone else. These men having that sort of woe for that Obi-Wan has woe about who Anakin became. He has pity, he has shame. For real reasons that has significance outside of a fictional story. This is something that many men have experienced in their own life. It makes sense why it matters psychologically, why it passes down a generational value that many men have lived through. And you are conveying this to future generations or the current upcoming generations. This is why it has value. And this is about a young man. He reconciles the broken past of his father and the broken past of his family and the fact that he doesn't know who he is, his family, who they are. I mean, he has a adoptee family or whatever. But he doesn't properly know who he is and where he comes from. And there's something relevant in all of that, especially for young men. And these separate storylines matter for their own purpose and their own utilitive use. There's a utility to the story. Again, Luke is reconciling, and I've spoken about this many times in the past, but Luke is reconciling. There's many layers going on here, but Luke is reconciling an aspect of his father, Darth Vader, helping free his father from the manipulations and then the ultimate holds, because now Palpatine defines his father, Vader. Vader is Vader because of Palpatine, in some sense, mostly because of Palpatine. Darth Sidious. And Darth Vader's own son, Luke, who is estranged from him. Luke going through this revelatory journey, becoming a Jedi Knight. He reconciles himself and his father defeating the man that turned him into what he became, Darth Vader. Luke could not defeat Vader. He could not defeat Sidious. The whole story in the originals is about how this man comes to learn of who his father is, revelates upon the identity of his father, and through his own very presence, being the son of this man who lost himself in part because of his fears and concerns due to family and his background with Padme and all that, Darth Vader ultimately reconciles to defeat the very man that turned him into what he became. In a sense, freeing his father just through his mere existence as his son, reminding us his father of who he used to be. That whole narrative has so much packed in psychological value, and this is why men loved Star Wars. This is why it had value. This is why it was a franchise, a property that many men spent how much money on, how many video games, how many comics, books, novels, all these things. They cared about it, and why. And it's clowns like these. They don't understand why there are movies, why there are video games. They don't understand why these things exist. And then they make a mockery of it through games like this. There's no story here. There's nothing that has utility or existential purpose in this. This is bloated nonsense, is what this is. You are peddling away your time to play nonsensical products like this, to watch nonsensical movies like what's coming out nowadays, especially from Disney Star Wars. You're sitting down and it's just a meat grinder. It's just churn, churn, churn product. Generic fantasy, all it is a churn marketing product. That's all it is. There is no product. You are the product, ultimately, effectively speaking. You have made it your existential purpose to waste your time with these trash products, these trash games, these trash movies. You sit down and you put hours and hours into Diablo 4. Why? Why are you grinding in Diablo 4? Do you become smarter? Do you become better? Is there anything that you're becoming of in your own life when you're playing Diablo 4? The answer is no. They're wasting your time intentionally with their game design. And you are completely bastardizing your own self-growth and development as a result of playing these games. This is why the death of meritocracy within movies, television, and gaming, and books, by the way, this is why it matters so much. Because you are making a mockery of these industries and the reason they ever existed in the first place, why people put their time into this in the first place. There are other things that you can do with your time. And the reason why products like these exist is because people have so much faith in the industry, because once upon a time, men would pick up these games. They would pick up movies, and it would deliver a purpose, a value, a meaning through the material. There was substance there, and it delivered exactly on that. You thought twice about things. You thought twice about your life after watching that movie. You thought twice about your family. You thought twice about something. There's something that you thought about because it provided to you value. That is not this. There's no such thing behind this game, behind anything akin to this game, Forspoken, Immortals of Avium. We can go down a long, long list, and I played through many of these games last year. You have to be an absolute idiot. Idiot. You have to hate yourself as well if you are going to tolerate this nonsense. For anyone to convince themselves that this is a good use of your time, you have no life. You have no time to give to anything. You have forfeited your own existence. There's so many things you could do. There's so many greater stories that you could actually pick up and interface with. This is why now, more than ever before, people are just going back to older stuff because nothing modern has value. Because we are giving jobs to these absolute hacks who are just making dog filth churn marketing products, and that's it. Oh, here's another book, another romance novel. You understand that there's a bunch of feminist romance novelists, and all these women, they all know that these books, they all end the same. The stories are all the same. The characters are all the same, and they know it. And they sell these products just to turn a dime, and that's it. That's the only reason they write this horse crap. And then there's losers out there who apparently just such a freaking dope. They can't do anything with their life, apparently. So they just read the same dog trash over and over again from people who know they're making the same dog trash. Pathetic. Pathetic. If these people were the progenitors of the industry, there would be no industry. The only reason there are books that people will buy to this day is because of Tolkien, is because of C.S. Lewis, is because of H.P. Lovecraft. We can go down a whole list. These are the men that substantiated their realm. Now, not exactly dumb. I mean, books have been written for a long time. But the purpose is that there are specific men throughout history. These are the very men who gave the reason for the entire industry. Vampires really do not exist without guys like Bram Stoker really fleshing out that idea. For instance, none of this stuff exists without the proper actors, without the proper performers. When you sit here and you're a complete hack, you do not belong in your position. You are just justifying the death of an industry. That's all you're doing. The death of a genre. The death of this very practice. If a bunch of plumbers tomorrow are going more and more DEI and they just start fixing broken leaks and just making even more broken leaks, and you're having problems with the faucet and you're having problems with water and all these different ways, you understand that people will immediately stop having any faith in plumbing. They will no longer wish to purchase the services and even, in fact, maybe replace it with something else, because clearly you're not doing it. You're not good at what you do. You're going to be replaced, and or there's going to be a revolution for actual competency. It's something of the sense of the form, whatever it is. It's so funny to me because the actual writer for this game, she literally has a quote that says, apparently because she's a bogus writer for this game, apparently she's so important that she now has quotes that she's making for herself because super self-importance for some reason. Okay. Literally the writer for this game, the director, this Carrie Patel chick, she's sitting there saying, she literally has a quote, and like for some reason, like there's a website, I think, or whoever, they did an interview with her, and they're like, the headline of the interview is this crappy quote right here, spoken by this freaking moron. AI art will never be able to replace human creativity. Really? Really? Maybe actually justify yourself in your industry before you start having yourself quoted off. Just honestly. These liberals and how they smell their own farts and they say it's an aromatic perfume. The bottle of the gods. No. That all of you are defecating. You're defecating into each other's noses. And you're overdosing on the freaking scent. This is nonsense. I sincerely cannot believe that anyone would purchase anything like this. And on top of it, I can't believe these people think that they're legit at what they do. I can't believe it. And I can't believe that they think that people should be spending their money on all these games and movies and whatever else. And I can't believe that there's so many people in an industry and they don't understand the actual purpose, the actual economical function of the industry. Why do you think there are movies, video games? Why? It's not because of this. It is games like these that exist off of daddy's money. And that's what it is. You don't have skill. You don't have talent. I don't even know if you have the genetics for this. Do you have the writer's gene? Do you have the spark of creativity that actually exists within you? No, you don't. You don't. What the frick am I looking at on screen here? There is no idea behind this. It is a barf of ideas. This is exactly what I thought when I was picking up the game. I'm like, this is a barf of ideas. This weird character design here. I always thought this, but then, I was sitting there and I was like, but let's see what the idea is and pick up the game. And then we play the game and it goes absolutely nowhere within the first 6 to 8 hours that I've played. You have no ideas. You just have dog crap coming out of your mouth and your freaking butthole. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? I am so ashamed. I am so ashamed of this. Let me share something before I ultimately head out with this game. Because I think I'm fed up. I mean, truly, it came down to me that this game's a waste of time because it's just another dialogue line. It's just another quest. It's just another sword, another common sword. How many common swords do I have to loot before I realize that opening all these chests is meaningless? Oh, another common spear. Thank God. Oh my gosh. There are people who convince themselves that this is good. You have nothing to live for if this is good to you. It's just that simple. So, I'm going to say this. Making proper stories, making proper products. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. I got some water. Okay. When you know how to dribble a basketball, it's not that difficult. When you learn a skill, there comes a point where it's not that difficult to operate the skill. Now, some people are better built for these skills than other people. That's just simple. Simple, pragmatic, biological realism right there. When you understand how to tell a story, making a proper story is not that difficult. Let's just face it. Of course, there's a bunch of people, they clearly don't know how the frick to do it. That's clear. But you want to know what goes through my mind as I'm playing these games, as I go through these cutscenes. You know exactly what's going through my mind? I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of a better story. I'm thinking of a better game. I'm thinking to myself, literally facilitated. I'm simulating in my mind in real time as I'm listening to these freaking bozos talk in this game. I'm literally simulating interesting characters, interesting scenes, interesting dialogue, interesting moments in a different game. I'm thinking like, wow, that would be so cool. What if a character was like this? Think of like this grim, dark storyline. You have this character and you have this scene and and it's like, okay, camera angle here. And then we're doing this there. I'm thinking about all these layers. Meanwhile, we have this. Meanwhile, this. Absolute nonsense. You know, it's amazing to me because the amount of times that I can just simply fantasize of a better product, better scenes, with much more gravitas, with way better delivery of concepts, ideas, of dialogue lines, the better deliveries and executions that we could be getting in all kinds of different games, the better industry that I fantasize in my mind all the time, especially sitting through this freaking nonsense. Like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, you know, there could actually be cool ideas. You know, there's actual dudes out there who are actually good at what they do, including me. Better than this freaking horse crap. Better than these freaking bozos who don't know what the frick they're doing. It's just amazing to me. It's like you have this entire budget and then you're so incompetent. You're so incompetent. It's amazing. Interesting ideas. Once you understand what you're doing, once you've learned how to dribble the basketball, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Again, not everyone's built for it, okay? But for those who are built for it, it's not that hard. I could write a freaking amazing story in my mother effing sleep. And when I'm sitting here, again, this was literally happening somewhere within all of this, just me playing this game. I was literally just fantasizing like, you know, wow, it would be so interesting if the gaming industry was coming out with, oh, this random hypothetical game, this random, like imagine this game with this scene here and this storyline there, with this kind of character there. Just imagining all the different variables and potentialities. Imagine an entire industry that is actually functioning the way it should be and being delivered to us, to any audience member, customer, whatever you want to call the individual. Imagine getting proper products, proper characters, proper stories, proper tonality, proper atmosphere. Everything's properly done. Imagine that. Proper direction. This is the kind of dog crap that you expect from AI. Yeah. It's so amazing to me that the director sat there and said that AI will never replace human creativity. If this is your idea of creativity, you've already been replaced. Dear God. All right, guys, that's the end here of this game. And like, quite frankly, I just don't care. I've gotten to the point where I realize, this is everything I'm talking about here. We've gotten to the point where I realize that I'm literally just wasting my time away playing this game. We've gotten to the point where it's like, literally, I see this game for entirely what it is. And it's just, the whole thing's a waste of time. It's a complete charade. That's all this is. And in my mind, I'm literally thinking of a game that's not a charade, and I'm thinking of a game that could have been made with this budget that would have actually been good, would have actually been worthwhile. And it's amazing to me that anything like this is made. A game that actually respects your time. How long has it been? Or, even better question, how few have those products been? All right. So as we head out with this game, because again, me playing this game any further is an actual waste of my time. And honestly, I think this last hour has been, I finally got inside of this city and I saw pretty much everything that needs to be seen. Okay. Yeah, it's a waste of time. And I think the last hour has been a waste of time outside of entering the city and seeing what that was about. And it's just, entering the city has just revealed to me the true quality of this game. This is your, your capital city, or at least, for the prologue of the game, this is the capital city. If this is the best that you've got to offer, oh man. Oh man. It's not good. So guys, as we close out here, literally, the link is in the description. Check out my books. check out everything I'm writing. I've got other stuff that I am working on that I am going to be delivering to you guys. The reason I do this channel, the reason I cover these games is literally because I am making the alternative, the proper alternative, what we should be getting. I am giving to you exactly what it is that you deserve. It's just that simple. I'm giving to you stories of substance, stories that are not made for the meat grinder. I'm giving to you stories that have existential purpose and function. That is why I make what I make. I make the very products that justify an industry. So go check it out. It is Charles Arlington on Amazon. Again, the link is in the description. Pick it up, check it out. Literally pick up any of it. Anything I've written, just pick it up. If it was a waste of time, I would have never written it to begin with. So literally pick up anything. Like right now, I am working on the Realm Lords Apocrypha, so there is that, and I really do love, if you're looking for fantasy, and it's not fantasy, it's grand fantasy, the Realm Lords Apocrypha. We have a lot of crazy places that I'm going with that. Lots of crazy places, lots of crazy ideas, and if you want a story that's actually going to hit you freaking hard, like a freaking freight train, then yeah, you're going to pick up the Realm Lords Apocrypha. That is a story that is going to hit you hard. Especially if you're looking for proper masculinity delivered in a story, then pick it up. Anyway, man, it's so amazing to me how absolute charlatans, they get away with this freaking crap, making absolute horse trash. This is amazing to me. This is absolute dog water horse filth, and I cannot believe this was made. It's just amazing to me how these people think that they can justify their own existence making crappy products like this. It is unfathomable to me. You know, when you get into doing something like this, right, you're making creative products, only do it if you actually have a purpose in doing it. It makes no sense to me how people get into this and there is no purpose in it. Now, of course, it's no surprise that a bunch of women are the ones that have no purpose in doing this, and they're the ones that pick it up and they try to get into it, and then they make a complete fool of themselves every time. But it just amazes me how many people, this is a soulless endeavor for them, and they do it anyways. Absolutely amazing. Like, I could not imagine sitting down and making a story that has literally no existential soul or purpose to itself. This is beyond me. I cannot even fathom being this type of person. I don't know how these writers exist, but they do. They do. Jedi Survivor, another great example. Anyways, we are getting into the next games. There's a Warhammer Rogue Trader came out. I don't know if it's a new game, but anyways, we're going to be checking it out after this. So anyways, guys, thanks for being with me on this game, I guess. And please actually do yourself a mother effing favor and actually pick up my books and get a proper story for once in your freaking life. Anyways, on to the next game.